called Dunblobin.
Visit Mr. Blobby's house.
Dunblobin was originally made for little kids, but now it's completely taken over by nature. This abandoned park was one of many parks created by Noel Edmond and his fictional character, Mr. Blobby. Back in the 90s, Noel had a very popular TV show called Noel's House Party. It got so popular that Mr. Blobby, the main character, got its own set of After about a decade, the parks went bankrupt. One was converted into a hotel, most were leveled and the land was sold, but for some reason, they decided to leave Dunblobin intact. People say the park is now haunted, and ghost hunters gather there in hopes to see something supernatural. But in my opinion, the creepiest part of this story isn't the abandoned park. It's Mr. Blobby. In 1950, Whataburger opened its first location in Corpus Christi, Texas. But what most people don't know is that around the same time, 1,200 miles across the country, another Whataburger was selling its first burger. Both Whataburger and Whataburger sold burgers for the next 20 years before they discovered each other. Once they learned of each other's existence, the two restaurants discussed merging into one company, but eventually decided to peacefully coexist. While one of these restaurants clearly outshined the other, the Virginia-based Whataburger is still in operation today. I think it'd be really cool if someone did a blind taste test of the two. In 1950, Whataburger opened its first...
I thought I had no...
In 1998, a salvage company called RMS Inc. raised a 20-ton section of the Titanic out of the North Atlantic. Now, this section is known as the Big Piece and was originally part of the starboard side of the Titanic. And it broke off when the ship hit the iceberg over 100 years ago. RMS Inc. received a lot of backlash. Relatives of Titanic victims say the company was tampering with a gravesite. This didn't stop RMS from going on to raise more than 5,000 artifacts from the wreckage. What do you think? Was RMS out of line for this, or is this type of preservation? This is Mr. Blobby. And believe it or not, this terrifying creature was once a beloved and very popular children's character in the UK. Mr. Blobby is as popular in the UK as Barney is in America. He was originally featured on a TV show called Noel's House Party in the early 90s. Mr. Blobby's popularity grew so much that they opened an entire fleet of children's theme parks in his name. All of the parks went bankrupt after about 10 years, and they're now considered haunted. Now, I don't usually believe in places being haunted, but if this thing created a theme park, then it has to be haunted. There is a secret side of Disney World the company doesn't want you to see. If you look at a map of the park, there's a little green spot in the middle of Bay Lake. There's no description of what it is, and it's completely off limits to everyone, including employees. Around 20 years ago, this mysterious island was actually another Disney park called Discovery Island. You take a boat from shore, arrive at the island, and basically look at exotic birds. Fast forward to 1999, Animal Kingdom opens, and it's basically a bigger and easier to get to version of Discovery Island. This sparked the very quick decline of the island. Today, it's abandoned and in ruins, completely overrun by nature. It's also heavily guarded. If you're anywhere near Bay Lake, you can be assured that you're being watched. It makes you wonder if there's more to this island than Disney is letting on. There is a secret about Disneyland the company doesn't want you to know. If you rode the Pirates of the Caribbean ride back in the 1960s, you would be impressed with how realistic the skeletons looked. That's because when this ride opened at Disneyland, all of the skeletons on the attraction were actual human bones. Now, they tried to install fake skeletons, but Walt Disney thought they looked too fake. So instead, they worked with the medical center at UCLA to get their hands on the real thing. Today, Disneyland says that there are no longer any human remains on the ride, but some people are unconvinced. The bed chamber skull seems to have the most speculation around it. Insiders confirmed that it was in fact real, and others have said that this skull, in particular, was donated by a former employee. This 110-year-old ship was just found near Antarctica, and it's one of the world's most well-preserved vessels to date. It belonged to explorer Ernest Shackleton, who got the ship stuck in the Weddell Sea's thick ice. Everyone on board abandoned the ship before it sank. The captain kept records of where he thought the shipwreck might be, and according to the team of scientists who found it, he was right. Once they were close to where they believed it was, they used an underwater search vehicle to locate it. This ship was so well preserved that the name etched across its stern is clearly visible in the footage. The extremely icy water is why it's in such good condition for its age. There is a forest in North Carolina that is home to the Yogi Bear graveyard. Yes, this Yogi Bear.
Look at the bears!
Some say there's no explanation for these statues being here, but there's always an explanation. In the 1960s, the cartoon got so popular that the creators started a Yogi Bear restaurant to try and capitalize off the character's fame. The restaurants didn't do well at all, and most of them ended up closing. And this left the owners with a whole lot of statues of Yogi the Bear and other characters from the show. And instead of sending them all to a dump, the company seemed to just dispose of them in a forest. And this area very known as the Yogi Bear graveyard. On a side note, if you ever want to try the Yogi Bear restaurant, there's one left in operation. This is Norman.
We have Norman.
Norman was created about 18 years ago to star in a music video for the band Interpol. Now, for some reason, people loved him. But unfortunately, Norman went missing for 10 years. In 2014, an auction was listed on iCollector.com under the title Animatronic Creepy Ghoul Puppet from Music Video. And lo and behold, after 10 years, Norman had reappeared. It's terrible. Despite having a loyal fan base, no one purchased him, and he went missing again for another 5 years until a YouTuber managed to track him down and buy him.
We have Norman.
This is proof that your devices are always listening to you. Have you ever had a conversation about a product and then you started seeing ads for it everywhere? Now, these big tech companies claim they don't listen, but a YouTuber by the name of Michelo proved otherwise in a live stream a few years ago. He held up a piece of paper with a subject he had not talked about yet. He visited a few websites to see what ads they were currently showing.
And here we have a breast cancer ad, is that right?
He closed everything on his computer and started talking about the subject.
All right, so dog toys. Maybe some dog toys near me. Affordable dog toys, that'd be really good for me.
He went back to the same websites he visited before, and lo and behold...
Oh my God! It's right there! Dog toy ads, again!
He also received an ad for Ford.
Affordable dog toys, that'd be really good for me. Most affordable.
There are human remains all over Disney World. Multiple people have confessed to spreading their loved ones' ashes all over the parks.
She had told us she wanted them on the front lawn of the Disney castle.
This has become such a common occurrence that Disney has a special radio code they use when they discover human ashes.
You know, this is what would have made my mom, what she would have wanted.
There are human remains. This is an abandoned aquarium. A pair of urban explorers took this eerie footage when they broke into an unnamed aquarium in Spain. They found a decomposed squid and octopus inside shattered glass jars. They also found starfish that didn't decay like the other animals. The most appalling find was the remains of a reef shark inside a broken display case. The shark was likely treated beforehand, which gave it a zombie-like appearance when it started to finally decay. Have you ever wondered how this magic trick was done? You know it probably has something to do with his arm touching the bus, but it's still confusing to look at. Well, it turns out that the simplest explanation is the right one. The secret is pretty straightforward when you start to notice that his right arm never moves, like not even his fingers move. You can also notice the bump in the front of his shirt, which is his actual right arm. The one attached to the bus is actually a metal rod connected to a harness that he sits in. Have you ever wondered? This is Rosie the shark. In 1997, Rosie got so badly tangled in fishing nets that the fishermen decided to humanely kill her. A wildlife park in Australia ended up purchasing the dead shark to make her the central display in their museum. The park ended up closing down and the facilities became abandoned. For 7 years, the shark was left alone. In 2019, another park decided to buy her, and with a major group effort, they successfully lifted Rosie and transported her to her new... How did David Blaine bite this quarter in half? Well, if you thought it had something to do with the actual quarter, you'd be right. Some people think he swaps the coin out in the middle of the trick, and others think it has something to do with the metal. But he actually uses a gimmick coin to perform this trick. It's made up of two parts, held together by an elastic band. And once you see how it works, this trick becomes a little less impressive. How did David... Do you notice something weird about how Putin walks? He swings his left arm freely, but his right arm seems like it's stuck to his side. Some people have speculated that because this is a sign of early Parkinson's, Putin might be at risk. But the real reason he walks this way has nothing to do with his health. Putin was a KGB officer for 16 years, and in the KGB manual, it spells out the specific way officers should walk, so they can always be prepared to handle their weapons. This style of walking perfectly describes the way Putin walks today. Other long-term KGB officers also seem to walk the same way. Do you know what happens when you land on free parking in Monopoly? You win the jackpot in the middle of the board, right? Wrong. I'm willing to bet you have no idea what the rules actually say about free parking. In fact, Hasbro has come out and stated that they get hundreds of calls about this very rule every year. So what is it? What happens when you land on free parking? The answer is nothing.